This road sign means A. Drive with caution and be ready to slow down. B. Do not drive in this lane. C. You must come to a complete stop and yield the right of way. D. Slow down, be prepared to stop, and, if necessary, yield the right of way. D. Slow down, be prepared to stop, and, if necessary, yield the right of way. This type of triangular sign means drivers must yield. You must slow down as you come to an intersection marked with this sign and be prepared to stop. Let any other vehicles, bicyclists, or pedestrians pass safely before you proceed. An intersection has no traffic signs or signals. You arrive at the same time as a vehicle to your right. You should A. Speed up and get through the intersection. B. Slow down and yield to the vehicle on your right. C. Drive into the intersection and make the other vehicle stop. D. Honk your horn and drive through the intersection. B. Slow down and yield to the vehicle on your right. When two vehicles arrive to an uncontrolled intersection at the same time, the vehicle on the right has the right of way. Once the vehicle on the right has safely passed through the intersection, the other driver may proceed. The act of turning your head and checking your blind spot before changing lanes, driving away from a curb, or merging your vehicle into traffic is A. A bad driving habit. B. A good driving habit. C. Unnecessary. D. Not necessary if you use the rearview mirror. B. A good driving habit. When changing lanes, it is important to check your blind spots. Do this by looking over your shoulder toward the next lane. Do not rely only on your mirrors.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
This road sign means A. Road construction ahead. B. The road ahead curves left, then right. C. The road ahead curves right, then left. D. Steep grade ahead. C. The road ahead curves right, then left. This sign indicates that the road ahead curves to the right and then to the left. You should slow down to be able to negotiate these curves safely. If your turn signals fail, you should use fill in the blank to indicate that you are turning. A. Your horn. B. Your headlights. C. Hand signals. D. Your emergency flashers. C. Hand signals. If your vehicle's turn signals do not work, you should use hand signals to indicate when you intend to change direction. A regulatory sign containing a red circle with a slash through the middle indicates A. That drivers should come to a complete stop. B. That an action is forbidden. C. That some drivers should yield to other drivers. D. That drivers should drive under the speed limit. B. That an action is forbidden. Some regulatory signs prohibit certain actions. These signs are rectangular and white with red and black markings. A red circle and slash on top of a black symbol indicates that the specified action is forbidden. If you become stranded in a snowstorm, the best thing to do is to A. Get out of the car and go for help. B. Lay down in your car and go to sleep. C. Walk into the road and get the attention of other drivers. D. Stay in the car, as you are most likely to be found when you stay in your vehicle. D. Stay in the car, as you are most likely to be found when you stay in your vehicle. If you become stranded in a snowstorm, the best thing to do is stay in your car and wait for help. You are most likely to be found if you don't leave your vehicle. Additionally, it may be unsafe to walk around outside in a snowstorm. When driving on wet pavement, it's important to remember A. That pavement is especially slippery right after it starts to rain. B. That wet roads can cause hydroplaning. C. To give yourself additional space when coming to a stop. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Wet roadway surfaces can be dangerously slick, especially immediately following a rainfall. When you are driving on wet roads, your vehicle is traveling on a thin layer of oil, dirt, and water. Slow down when there is heavy rain, standing water, or slush on the road to reduce the risk of your wheels losing traction on the slick surface. On slippery roads, you should A. Slow down. B. Drive more quickly. C. Drive the speed limit, with caution. D. Not drive more quickly than 20 miles per hour. A. Slow down. You should slow down at the first sign of rain, snow, or sleet, all of which can create slippery road conditions. When conditions on the road are less than ideal, safety may require that you drive more slowly than the posted speed limit. Compared to driving during the day, driving at night is A. Less dangerous. B. No more or less dangerous. C. More dangerous. D. Easier on your eyes. C. More dangerous. Driving at night is more dangerous than driving during the day for several reasons. It is harder to see in the dark, you may be temporarily blinded by the glare from other vehicles' lights, and there are likely to be more drivers on the road who are tired or under the influence. If you are driving a car and are 21 years of age or older, you are considered to be driving under the influence if your blood alcohol concentration (BAC) is A. 0.02% or higher, B. 0.04% or higher, C. 0.06% or higher, D. 0.08% or higher, D. 0.08% or higher. Under Idaho law, you are considered to be driving under the influence if you are 21 years of age or older and your blood alcohol concentration (BAC) is 0.08% or higher. If you are driving and your BAC is lower than 0.08%, you may still be convicted of driving under the influence if you have consumed other intoxicating substances. A seat belt should be adjusted so that it A. is loose, B. is buckled snugly across your hip bones and lower abdomen, C. is hidden beneath the seat, D. keeps the seat belt buzzer or light from operating, B. is buckled snugly across your hip bones and lower abdomen. Lap belts should fit snugly across your hip bones and the lower part of your abdomen. Shoulder belts should sit comfortably so that you can insert your fist between the belt and your chest. What might happen when alcohol is combined with another drug? A. The effects of the alcohol and the drug may both be increased. B. Nothing will happen. C. The effects of the alcohol and the drug may both be reduced. D. The effects of only the alcohol may be reduced. A. The effects of the alcohol and the drug may both be increased. consuming both alcohol and another drug may enhance the effects of both. For example, taking one drink when you are also using a cold remedy could affect you as if you have had several drinks. A broken yellow line alongside a solid yellow line means A. Passing on the left is permitted from either direction. B. Passing is permitted from the lane next to the broken line. C. Passing is permitted from the lane next to the solid line. D. Passing is not allowed from either direction. B. Passing is permitted from the lane next to the broken line. A broken yellow line alongside a solid yellow line means that passing is allowed from the lane on the side next to the broken line. This road sign means A. You are about to enter a one-way street from the wrong direction. B. U-turns are prohibited. C. You may proceed if the way is clear. D. Come to a complete stop before proceeding. A. You are about to enter a one-way street from the wrong direction. If you drive past these signs, you are going the wrong way and are at risk of a head-on collision. You should cautiously turn around. When approaching a steady green traffic light, drivers should A. Continue driving, unless there are vehicles or pedestrians already in the intersection. B. Stop if a police officer is nearby. C. Treat the intersection like a four-way stop. D. Come to a complete stop before proceeding. A. Continue driving, unless there are vehicles or pedestrians already in the intersection. When approaching an intersection with a steady green traffic light, yield to pedestrians in the crosswalk and vehicles still in the intersection. You may continue driving, but should approach the intersection at a speed that will allow you to slow down and stop if the light changes before you get there. You may drive around or under a gate that is being lowered or raised at a railroad crossing. A. As long as an approaching train is not too close. B. If your vehicle can do so without damaging the gate. C. If you first look carefully in both directions. D. Under no circumstances. D. Under no circumstances. Flashing red lights, lowered crossing gates, and/or bells at a railroad crossing mean that you must come to a complete stop. You must not go across the tracks until the lights and bells have stopped and the crossing gates are completely up. Do not drive around or under a gate that is moving up or down. This sign means A. Watch for bicycles. B. Bicycles not allowed. C. Bicycle repair shop ahead. D. Bicycles have the right of way. A. Watch for bicycles. This sign provides advance warning that bicycles may be present. What should you do when an emergency vehicle is approaching while displaying flashing red or blue lights? A. See if you can reach your destination before the emergency vehicle catches up to you. B. Continue driving but try to stay out of its way. C. Pull over to the side of the road and come to a complete stop. D. Stop in the middle of an intersection. C. Pull over to the side of the road and come to a complete stop. You must yield the right of way to all emergency vehicles using a siren, air horn, and/or flashing red, blue, or white lights. Where possible, you must pull over to the right edge of the road. If you are in an intersection, drive through the intersection before you pull over. If worried, nervous, angry, or crying, a driver A. Will drive no differently than they would if they were thinking more clearly. B. Can drive faster because they are more in touch with their senses. C. Should take the time to focus on driving before starting the engine. D. Should call a friend to vent while driving. C. Should take the time to focus on driving before starting the engine. You may not be able to drive well if you are worried, excited, crying, angry, or depressed. Emotions can distract you from your driving because your mind is focused on something else. Take time to calm down and get focused before driving. If your car starts to skid, turn your steering wheel. A. To keep the front wheels straight. B. In the direction you want the vehicle to go. C. In the opposite direction of the skid. D. In any direction. It doesn't matter. B. In the direction you want the vehicle to go. If your vehicle goes into a skid, you should turn the steering wheel in the direction you want the vehicle to go. As soon as the vehicle begins to straighten out, turn the steering wheel back the other way. What kinds of drugs can affect your driving ability? A. Allergy medicine. B. Marijuana. C. Cold remedies. D. All of these choices. D. All of these choices. Many kinds of drugs can impair your ability to drive. This includes illegal drugs and legal prescription or over-the-counter medications. It can be a criminal offense to drive while impaired by any drug. To help prevent crashes, you should A. Communicate with other road users. B. Ignore other drivers on the road. C. Drive only on side streets and back roads. D. Avoid driving during rush hour. A. Communicate with other road users. Crashes often happen because one driver does something that other road users are not expecting. You should communicate with other motorists, bicyclists, and pedestrians by doing things like signaling when slowing down, stopping, or changing direction. Use your emergency signals or horn when appropriate. This sign means A. Two-way traffic. B. Lane shifting. C. Low clearance. D. Added lane. A. Two-way traffic. Warning signs prepare drivers for upcoming road conditions and hazards and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign tells drivers that they may encounter traffic coming from the opposite direction. When driving in bad weather, drivers should A. Increase their speed to reach their final destination more quickly. B. Decrease their following distance. C. Increase their following distance. D. None of the above. C. Increase their following distance. When driving on wet roads, drivers should increase their following distance. In which situation is it illegal to pass another vehicle on the right? A. The vehicle you are overtaking is driving below the speed limit and you must use the shoulder of the road to pass. B. You are on a two-lane, one-way road and the vehicle you are overtaking has stalled. C. You are on a multi-lane highway and the vehicle you are overtaking is driving below the speed limit. D. You are on a two-lane, two-way road and the vehicle you are overtaking is turning left. A. The vehicle you are overtaking is driving below the speed limit and you must use the shoulder of the road to pass. Under no circumstances may you leave the roadway to pass another vehicle. Only pass on the right where it is safe and legal to do so. You are coming to an intersection with a flashing yellow light. You should A. Stop and wait for the light to change. B. Make a U-turn because the intersection is closed. C. Drive carefully through the intersection. D. Prepare to stop, the light is about to turn red. C. Drive carefully through the intersection. A flashing yellow light means that you should proceed through the intersection slowly and with caution. Scan your eyes across traffic in both directions. This road sign means A. Parking spaces are reserved for people with disabled parking permits. B. A circular intersection is ahead. C. Traffic in the lane must turn in the direction of the arrow. D. Lanes are reserved for buses and vehicles with a driver and one or more passengers. A. Parking spaces are reserved for people with disabled parking permits. This sign marks parking spaces that are reserved for people with disabled parking permits. A telltale sign of a drunk driver is A. They are weaving between lanes. B. They are driving more slowly than the normal traffic flow. C. They are making quick and sudden stops. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Telltale signs of drunk driving include speeding, weaving, driving more slowly than the normal traffic flow, making jerking motions, and making quick and sudden stops. This road sign means A. Divided highway begins. B. A steep grade is ahead. C. The overpass ahead has a low clearance. D. Two lanes of traffic moving in opposite directions are about to merge. C. The overpass ahead has a low clearance. This sign warns that the overpass ahead has a low clearance. Do not proceed if your vehicle is taller than the height indicated, in this case, 13 feet, 6 inches. It is important to make a reasonable effort to notify the owner of another vehicle. A. If you hit their vehicle while it is unattended. B. If you don't like a bumper sticker displayed on their vehicle. C. That they are breaking the law while talking on their cell phone while driving. D. All of the above. A. If you hit their vehicle while it is unattended. You must make a reasonable effort to find the owner of an unattended vehicle, or other piece of property, that has been damaged in a crash in which you were involved. If the owner cannot be located, leave your name, address, and license plate number in a note describing the crash. What does a single dashed white line separating traffic mean? A. Drivers may pass, even if it could be dangerous. B. Lanes move in opposite directions. C. Drivers may not pass. D. Drivers may pass if it is safe to do so. D. Drivers may pass if it is safe to do so. White lines separate lanes of traffic that are moving in the same direction. Dashed white lines may be crossed to pass or change lanes, if it is safe to do so. A stop sign is shaped like A. Rectangle. B. Square. C. Circle. D. Octagon. D. Octagon. An octagonal shape is used only for stop signs. All 8-sided signs tell drivers to come to a complete stop before proceeding. This sign shows one type of A. Intersection. B. Road curve. C. Right turn. D. Lane change. A. Intersection. This sign indicates that an intersection with a crossing road is ahead. This sign means A. U-turns are prohibited. B. U-turns are permitted. C. Winding road ahead. D. Sharp left turn ahead. A. U-turns are prohibited. A regulatory sign displaying a red circle with a red slash through the middle indicates that a specific action is prohibited. U-turns are not permitted where this sign is posted. This sign tells you that A. No turns are allowed on this road. B. The road narrows ahead. C. There are a series of curves ahead. D. The road may be slippery when wet. C. There are a series of curves ahead. This sign warns of an upcoming winding road with 3 or more curves. You need to use extra caution when driving near a pedestrian using a white cane because A. He or she is deaf. B. He or she is a police officer. C. He or she is blind. D. He or she has poor balance. C. He or she is blind. When driving near a blind pedestrian who is carrying a white cane or walking with a guide dog, you must slow down, yield the right of way, and then proceed with caution. Be prepared to stop your vehicle in order to prevent injury or danger to the pedestrian. When passing a large vehicle, the driver of a small vehicle must be prepared for A. Loud noises. B. Excess air pollution. C. Wind gusts produced by the large vehicle. D. Falling vehicle parts. C. Wind gusts produced by the large vehicle. Large vehicles can cause wind gusts with a force great enough to cause direction changes in smaller vehicles. Drivers of small vehicles should be prepared to take proper corrective steering action when approaching or passing large vehicles that are moving at or near maximum speeds. If involved in an accident, a driver should A. Stop their vehicle at or near the scene. B. Not stand or walk in traffic lanes. C. Turn off the ignitions of wrecked vehicles. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. If you are involved in an accident, you must stop at or near the scene. Move your vehicle out of the way of traffic, if possible. Do not stand or walk in traffic lanes as you could be struck by another vehicle. Turn off the ignitions of wrecked vehicles.